In general, the Hyundai Solaris body resists corrosion well. However, some of its elements may suddenly bloom. Yes, and the paintwork is weak. Chips and ulcers quickly form on the body of a small car, although they do not surrender to rust for quite a long time. But the coating on chrome parts quickly shrinks and falls off in patches. The owners complain about the very thin metal, on which even a cat that jumped on the hood to warm itself leaves dents. Bumpers often lag behind the wings under their own weight. The pistons do not hold well. Radical fasteners for bumpers, self-tapping screws. Wheel studs are often torn off when tightened with a gun at a tire shop. We recommend that you tighten them by hand. By the way, the same problem is known for other Hyundai models. In the cold, the elements of the side mirrors burst. Yes, and the windshield is very thin. Chips and cracks appear with enviable frequency. The doors are poorly adjusted, their hinges creak. And in the cabin there are colonies of crickets. You cannot rely on the fuel level sensor, and strives to lie. The performance of the air conditioner is not enough. In rainy weather, the windows fog up heavily, and in a good downpour, even when the air conditioner is turned on at full power. And after installing a new cabin filter, the situation does not change. And in the heat, to achieve coolness in the cabin is simply impossible. It seems the little things do not affect the speed, but it's unpleasant. Chassis and steering. The Solaris suspension is simple in design, with McPherson struts up front and a semi-independent torsion beam in the rear. It would seem that no special problems were foreseen here, but it was not there. Due to weak rear springs and shock absorbers, the car did not hold a high-speed straight line well and behaved unsteadily in corners with uneven asphalt. And with the full load, the suspension pierced at high speeds, which by no means had a beneficial effect on the state of the elastic and damping elements. Moreover, after replacing them, they were enough for 5,000 to 10,000 kilometers, and then everything was repeated. The Koreans promptly responded to the claims, and at the end of 2011, modernized shock absorbers began to be installed. Solaris handles them more adequately, but nevertheless it was not possible to completely get rid of the defect. After 120 to 140 km/h, the car starts to scour the lane, and the rear part of the body bounces on bumps. In steering, two main weaknesses showed themselves: the rail itself and the power steering pump. Dealers, as a rule, change these nodes under warranty. But you won't envy the second owner. Replacing only one rail will already cost a pretty tidy sum. Engines. Hyundai Solaris was equipped with two gasoline 4s with a volume of 1.4 liters, 107 horsepower, and 1.6 liters, 123 horsepower. Diesel versions were not officially sold with us. Both motors of the Gamma series are made in China. They are identical in design and designed for a resource of 180,000 kilometers. But under normal operating conditions, they can run even more. Engines with an aluminum alloy block and cylinder head are equipped with a seemingly eternal chain in the timing drive. True, after 100,000 kilometers it can stretch, which leads to a failure in the CVVT valve timing system. This can be felt by the dips and traction during acceleration. The chain should be changed immediately, otherwise it will jump a few teeth, and the valves will meet the pistons. On the oldest and hackneyed specimens, oil will leak from under the valve cover, through the front and rear crankshaft oil seal, or the head gasket will leak. In addition, the engines are demanding on the quality of gasoline, although they work great on both the 95th and 92nd. However, as practice shows, the use of fuel with a higher octane number significantly reduces its consumption. Due to surrogate fuel, the throttle valve quickly becomes clogged, requiring flushing on average once every 30 to 50,000 kilometers. And on a 1.4-liter engine, even cases of premature failure of the converter are known, at 50 to 70,000 kilometers. Dealerships are expensive to replace. Interestingly, a more powerful unit does not suffer from such an ailment. The radiator is also at risk. True, there have not yet been any mass replacements on the Solaris, only single appeals from the owners. But from the sticking of fluff and dirt, the radiator does not cope well with its duties, which in the heat leads to overheating of the engine. 1 point for the base engine is not bad in combination with the manual transmission, but the version with the automatic suits far from every owner. In addition, from our gasoline, this engine and a run of 60 to 100,000 kilometers can fail the converter. 1.6 for Solaris, its power is enough, including in conjunction with an automatic transmission. The motor is surprisingly reliable, unpretentious, and durable. Therefore, versions with 1.6 liters are preferred by taxi drivers. Transmission. With both Hyundai's Solaris engines, a 5-speed manual and 4-speed automatic transmissions were installed. Mechanics is distinguished by the clarity of switching and reliable fixation of gears. However, after 70 to 100,000 kilometers, the transition to the second and third stages can occur with increasing reluctance, and there is no trace of the former clarity. Moreover, with each kilometer the situation may worsen and the gear shift will occur with the crunch. If you feel something is wrong with the MCP, do not delay the repair. Otherwise, you will have to buy a new box. And repairs with the replacement of the gear, synchronizer clutch and third stage blocking ring will require much less cost. However, it is worth mentioning that the time of manifestation of this ailment directly depends on the driving style. For calm and competent drivers, a manual box can die along with the engine, and the riders will have time to repair it twice during this time. The clutch mechanism against the background of the MCP looks exemplary. On average, it nurses 130,000 kilometers or more. Again, the driving style directly affects the service life. Officials change the assembly as a set, clutch basket, release bearing, and disc. This rule is recommended for anyone involved in the repair and maintenance of Solaris. Do not rush to look for money for new front hub bearings, the play in which sometimes appears at 20 to 40,000 kilometers. It is usually enough to tighten the drive shaft nuts. Their tightening is weakened due to a worn plastic washer between the drive and the hub. The automatic transmission, according to the assurances of servicemen who are familiar with this unit from other Hyundai and Kia models, has the same resource as the engine. The main thing is to renew branded gear oil in the box after 70,000 kilometers, which is by no means cheap. But for all its reliability and durability, the automatic is not at all distinguished by agility and quickness. But the gears of a serviceable automatic transmission switch softly and smoothly. It seemed that the Koreans were in such a hurry to start assembling Solaris that they did not have time to bring it to mind. Indeed, in general, it turned out to be far from the worst budget car in terms of reliability, and the vast majority of owners are happy with it. But minor design flaws brought their fly in the ointment. However, if you like the car, we advise you to stop at the 1.6-liter version with an automatic, such as Solaris will create a minimum of problems in further operation.